He called himself a cheerleading coach, but one student and his mother says that he wasn't the man they thought he was.
We were totally under the impression that he was the assistant coach.
The CBS 11i team investigating the man facing some pretty serious charges. Good evening. Thank you for being with us tonight. I'm Doug Dunbar.
And I'm Gilma Avalos in for Kaylee while she's on leave. There were accusations of slapping, berating, grabbing, and rape from a male cheerleader against his assistant coach at a North Texas college.
I-team investigator Ginger Allen's been digging into this alleged hazing and sexual allegations for months now. So what's going on?
Well, this is another person in a position of power accused of using it for control. The alleged victim here is a teenage male cheerleader, and the accused is a volunteer coach who has been indicted. I do want to warn you that some of what you are about to hear is sexually explicit and could be disturbing.
About an hour south of Dallas, not far from the quiet, oil-rich streets of Corsicana, is a loud, booming, self-acclaimed dynasty.
Navarro Cheer was supposed to be one of the best of the best.
The Navarro College cheerleaders have won 12 national championships in the last 17 years. Just the kind of team this woman's son wanted to make since the 5th grade.
If you could make that team, then you had done well.
But now, the 20-year-old former cheerleader says what happened here drove him away from the sport, the school, and the state of Texas.
The images and just the memories, it's just, you can never shake them.
40-year-old Andre McGee called himself the #1 recruiter at Navarro College, best friends with and right hand to the head cheer coach, Monica Aldama. In post after post, the I-team found McGee refers to himself as a tough big, proud of his littles.
This man stole his dreams.
This civil lawsuit paints a very different picture of McGee, accusing him of slapping and hitting male cheerleaders, requiring them to drop their pants at his command and pose for hundreds of nude pictures, forcing rookies to drink and consume drugs, which they called big girl games. And in October 2015, the alleged victim says McGee forced him to take Xanax, and he awoke to McGee sodomizing him.
I've had some pretty terrible nightmares that have haunted me even till this day.
Afraid McGee would not allow him to compete, the former cheerleader says he stayed quiet until March of 2016, when he packed up, left, and filed this police report. In it, the I-team learned he was not alone. Another cheerleader made similar claims.
Do you believe there are other victims in this case?
Yes.
Why?
We've spoken to other victims in the case, and we've heard from other cheerleaders and others in the community that there were other victims.
This cheerleader says he also reported everything to the head coach and school. That's when his mom says she was shocked to learn McGee was not even a Navarro College employee.
We were totally under the impression that he was the assistant coach.
Navarro College first told the I-team McGee had never been employed with the squad. After we asked about all of the photos and posts, a spokesperson sent us this email saying McGee was a volunteer who was notified he could no longer volunteer after the allegations. By March of 2017, Navarro County indicted Andre McGee on a sexual assault charge. But 8 months later, McGee still had not been arrested.
It's taking way too long.
He feels like he's less important because he's a boy.
That's when his mom reached out to the I-team. The district attorney's office told us it was waiting for McGee to get out of jail on another charge. But we learned there was no other charge, and McGee was not in jail. We found him here, substitute teaching at this Fairfield school. We told the DA, and 2 days later, McGee was arrested. The office told us it had bad information about McGee's whereabouts. In December, McGee walked into his first court hearing. Inside, he talked about coaching at Navarro College. His pastor said he worked with the choir and Sunday school. And his mother became emotional, saying he had been around kids his whole life and holds a BA in psychology and a master's in teaching.
Retaliation is the motivation here.
McGee's attorney tells us this is all retaliation.
This case was brought up in retribution against Mr. McGee because Mr. McGee did something that caused this one student to be dismissed from Navarro College. The student was actually expelled because he got caught with marijuana in his car.
The young man's family told us he was caught with marijuana on campus, but was not expelled. And they say it has nothing to do with the sexual assault claims.
Did he ever take them drinking?
I have no idea.
Did he ever do anything inappropriate as far as hazing?
I have no idea about that either.
You adamantly say the sexual assault claims are a lie or retaliation.
No doubt if we take this case forward to trial, we'll receive a not guilty.
As the case finally moves forward, this family is questioning why it took the college, court, and county so long to act.
I definitely think that if I was a female, that it would be moving way faster.
So the indictment is against McGee. The civil suit is against McGee and the college, accusing it of ignoring reports of hazing and sexual assault. The college would not respond because of, obviously, pending litigation.
So question, one of the other players involved here,
Right.
at least among the group, is the head coach, right? The association, at least on social media. And what about other cheerleaders? Where do they stand with all this?
So we did reach out to both, and you did see the head coach a lot in the piece. So she is the head coach, but it repeatedly accuses her of being aware of the accusations in the lawsuit, but she's not she is not one of the defendants in the lawsuit. She did send us a statement saying she absolutely was not aware of any of this. She also said McGee was asked to leave as soon as the claims surfaced. Now, you also asked me about other cheerleaders. We reached out to dozens of other former cheerleaders. The majority of those who did respond to us adamantly deny the accusations and defend McGee. Some of those who did respond, just a few, did say it was true, but they did not want to discuss or pursue this publicly.
Right, and it's worthy of mentioning that when we did a Facebook Live earlier around 8 o'clock,
Yes.
that there was a fair amount of people on Facebook Live saying that they went there, they knew of him, and they defended him on Facebook Live as well.
That's right.
So, interesting.
They did.
Okay. All right.
We will continue to watch it. It'll head back to court soon, so we'll be back with more.
Thank you, Ginger.
And if you have tips or questions for CBS 11's I-Team, you can get in touch via email. The address is iteam@ktvt.com.